Hello. Welcome to Crafted Camper Co.
Since I put this kitchen countertop on, it's been really irking me. It's not perfect. The kind of quarter of this business is to get this fan perfect. So you can see the nicely rounded off cabinets here. I've measured for the cabinet. I've not measured for this extra lip on the back here. Of course, usually with the cabinet, you can see the back, and so it's just not something that I'd consider. It's such a small little space. I've been trying to find ways where that would be covered, and I just can't think of a decent way to do it other than recutting the other piece of kitchen countertop that I've got. You can imagine that's quite a big pain in the arse, but ultimately that's what's going to make this perfect. There's a cost involved to it. I can't go take that extra worktop back. It's just something that it's almost not a mistake, but just it's a mistake. So I'm going to correct it. I'm going to right my wrongs. I'm going to cut the new one to the same length. I might make it a little bit wider just because personally I feel like on here I want a little bit more of an overhang, so it gives me an opportunity to do that as well. And there is a chip at the back of this countertop, which effectively means that rather than having to put the wall over the top of that and it just being there in the background and the back of my mind, I do have the opportunity now just to do it again, do it even better, and in the long run it'll be much more of a snug fit shape, and look forward to seeing that improvement. Just going to go put the work in now to actually get it done. Just to run you through the specifics, I'm making myself a little diagram of where I need the amendments to be on the worktop. Let me show you. First of all, there's a little bit of damage there. That's ultimately what's made me make the decision to get it changed. As you can see, this contour here is the curve of the van. I want it to sit in there, further back, and then further back still, just to reach the end of the wall. The wall is going to press up against this piece here, so it is only a centimetre. Nonetheless, it's a centimetre. On this end, currently there's about a 0.5mm overhang. I want that to be more like I've left it now, which I'll measure and tell you how much that is. So now that the countertop's in and it's fitting really nice, I'm glad I did put the extra time and use the extra countertop. It's much better fit. Now as this cabinet under here has got the water tank in it, I'm going to put the sink above, and a bit further down the hub is going to go above the fridge. Again, above the fridge, as it's a fitted unit, is a wasted cavity, and so running the gas pipe and the ignition line on top of the fridge should work out quite well. There's quite a large lip there, so it does give me a bit of an allowance. Yeah, hopefully I don't mess this one up because it's the last countertop I've got. Just doing the gas line for the hob. Obviously got the hole in there. I pre-run the gas pipe down. It's on an L bracket then to go to the ISO valve, and it's plumbed into the isolation valve. So I'm just connecting it up at the top here. It goes from a large, I think it's a 1/2 inch BSP on a reducer down to an 8mm pipe. Gas PTFE on all connections. And tightened up. I'm going to use a gas leak detector once the gas tank down underneath is full, just to double check everything before I then take it for the gas safe certificate. So I am going to leave it loose at the minute, purely just so then I can easily get to it all, just in case I need to. I think it's pretty easy to over-engineer stuff when it comes to design. Keep it simple, stupid is a good thing that I got taught once upon a time. So thinking of a way to hold these, they're not too heavy but relatively heavy, seat bases up. I was thinking of like a hinge mechanism, maybe like something from the ceiling you could pull down, and just sort of a much easier idea. A bit of wood. If I just get a bit of wood which stores nicely down there, you lift this up, put that across. That stays up like that. If you need to do any work underneath on any of the electrics, very easy to do so. Very quickly approaching a point of no return in the van. I need to weigh it. I need to make sure that it's under 3.5 tons, so then it's not classified as a commercial vehicle. There's a very big unknown with that. I can pretty much put everything into ChatGPT and ask it to tell me how much it weighs, but until I actually weigh it and I actually know and I get the little ticket that says it's under, there's a bit of uncertainty. I'm not sure. There are things that I can take out the van, heavy things I've decided on which I can revert back to adjust accordingly, but only so far. So what I need to do, and what I've found slightly difficult, is figuring out how much to put into the van and fix into place before I then go take it and get weighed. With wanting to weigh the van, I'm going to put the walls on. Those are things that I'm not going to take off. I'm not going to reduce the weight for. So we've hit quite a big step now where I can actually get the walls on, plumbed in with all the electrical plugs and different sensors and units. And this is the first one. My idea for the panels down the side is to do a continuous panel from this fabric here. It'll overlap and it'll go all the way down in one single piece. Having that continuous look is quite important to me. It's going to be painted like the rest of the paint in the van, but not having a split down the middle might make it a bit more of a pain in the arse. Certainly the materials, there's going to be larger materials needed to get it done, but I think it's going to look good. Also, I've got an insert for where the light is there, so this area here, the panel's going to go all the way down. It's going to have a cutout from it, and then inside, pushed against and glued to the wall of the van, is going to be the material covered insert on there. That's then going to have the backlight surrounding it. So then you've got an indirect light source with a soft material where your head and your feet could potentially touch when you're laying in the bed. Here is the insert. It's one I made earlier. I've actually made two of them, one for each side. Very easy this. There was already cut panels for the shape, which was on the van previously, so I've just matched them, made them slightly smaller, covered in fabric. So then once I get the big wall on, I can then stick this on the inside. Hopefully everything goes to plan. Doesn't often, but hopefully it does now. If everybody would like to give me a hand and welcome the new starter in Campervan Waste Systems. It's me. I'm the new starter. I've never done this before. I've got the waste coming from the shower and the waste coming from the sink, and that's all going into a 75 litre grey tank, and then the grey tank needs emptying. So then I've got this contraption here, just a valve which is going to be pinned to the underside of the van, so then you can empty it out into like a local drain or into a specialist waste place. So I've got a little, what are they called? Can't remember what they're called. I've got a little clip which then so to hold the isolation valve waste pipe in place, there's a rubberized clamp that goes around. Then in there screws the bar, and then on the top of the bar I've then got something to hold it onto the bottom of the van. so that should hold it steady in place, allowing you to operate the valve.
This is the wheel well, and then the waste pipe comes up that hole.
It then goes behind the water tank
And then up.
under and into the sink. It's just here. It's nice in a way. I've done it so then it can't get knocked. I was going to run it down here originally. I think that's a much better position for it, and I'm going to attach it to the wheel well there, just so then there's no risk of anything moving and leaking. I've then got the hot and cold pipes, which are going to go up into where the tap is. This wall behind the countertop is all of the gauges on there. So we've got water tank gauge, wastewater tank, Truma boiler control, and the Victrona power manager, as well as the two 230 volt plug sockets with USBs in them. I'm just doing all the wiring now for the water gauges. I've run the waste pipe underneath the van. And then I should be able to get the wall on. The gauges pull 12 volt and light up, which is handy. But one thing that I don't want is them on all the time, especially when it comes to nights. I don't like to have ambient lighting, so I've put them on the remote. So I can click the remote, turn them on, and then on the same hand I can just turn them on. Nice and easy. And unfortunately for this week I've run out of time. As you can see, the wall for the kitchen is ready to go. It's ready to be put in. There are one or two issues with the gauges that I need to sort. For some reason the waste one, even though it's lighting up, it's powered, it's all wired correctly, it's not measuring. I don't know if it's because I've not put enough water into the waste tank just yet. Regardless, the video's getting a little bit long now, so I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to get the van out of here next week, regardless of what state it's in. It's coming out of its hibernation, so there's going to be some really good content and a fantastic video to watch next week. So make sure you keep in tune for that. Subscribe, like, and if you want a bit more content, you can follow on TikTok and Instagram for daily updates, where you get sneak peeks of everything before the next video comes out. Peace.